'Cause that's huge if you do start with a sword.
Yeah, are you there, Dabu?
He said he needed a couple minutes.
We'll have to see how we feel about this.
It's a little cheating, actually.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
What's starting with the green coat?
No, starting with a sword.
Oh.
Because the whole concept of the randomizer before was that you didn't know when you got your first weapon, so you had to utilize other weapon or items as weapons.
Is this a different ROM or a particular seed or something?
Well, I chose beginner for difficulty, and maybe that just gives you the sword.
Ah.
Yeah, swords are assured. Okay, that's it.
Yeah, because beginners, it is very difficult for beginners to play without initially starting with a weapon.
I'm having a little bit of audio glitching. I'm going to try changing the resolution real quick.
Hey, we're gonna do a different ROM, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
The one that we have gives you a sword to start, so we're changing that up.
Oh, okay.
So, should me and Dabu mute or deafen, I guess, during the race? If you guys can do commentary in the channel.
Oh.
You can move as well.
No, we have to be in the channel.
Oh yeah, because Discord stream. But then how do you not talk with or how do you talk to each other?
Is there going to be secret stuff that you're going to discover that you won't want the other person to know?
Yeah, knowing where items are.
Can't you just mute? Can't you both just mute Peter and I, and then talk amongst yourselves?
Yeah, that's probably fine.
And then we could mute you two, and then we could all be in the same channel.
You might want to hear us though.
Yeah, I'm gonna want to leave the racer's audio on.
Okay. Alrighty, yeah, you two will just mute us both then.
Everyone's gonna want to hear Shock's baby rage.
I'm a rage-free individual now.
Until you
I have that calm demeanor to me.
The first bottle you find is gonna be full of urine. You're gonna be just, what the fuck? It's like playing GTA: A Link to the Past.
Can't say that until you just don't get a weapon, a sword for 20 minutes.
Okay, so the code is the bow, and then the green tunic, and then the flute, compass, hookshot.
Yep.
Surprised you could play with that loud of a background sound of the music.
That's full immersion.
It's just because the microphone's really close to the screen. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Did you get one of those Cobra mics?
No, I'm just using the old webcam that Sonic mailed me 15 years ago.
I'm the one you picked out on Amazon.
Well, you picked it out, but...
So here's how we're gonna do it. When we have the okay, we will both mute Peter and Sonic, and then the players will count down and start at the same time. If you guys need to ping us, just ping us in the channel and tag us, and we should see the notification.
Alrighty.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and mute you two then.
Wow,
Okay.
There's no delay on that, huh?
Wow.
I've been waiting for this the whole night.
Well, are you guys both ready to start?
I won't mute you until I get the okay from everybody.
I'm ready to start. Yeah, at any time.
All right.
But I'm ready to start, yes.
Oh, okay, I'll give the official countdown, and then Oh
I
wait.
muted both of them, so if they say anything,
Wait,
let me know.
Peter, how do you watch both streams at the same time again?
So I popped out one of them, and then in the upper right, there's a couple options. The first thing I did is I unchecked show non-video participants to get like our icons out of the way, and then if you mouse over participants and click it, then you'll click on whoever you're not watching, and then you can hit watching or watch add stream or something. It's like an eyeball icon that lets you watch two at once.
Popped out Dabu's stream, but I don't see what you mean by like participants.
In the upper right of the window, do you see like there's a people, and then there's a calendar, and then there's...
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, click the people, then click shocks, and then there should be a button that's like watch multiple streams.
I think I have it. Shox' stream is paused by him, right? Okay,
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah, because that happened when he was like getting ready to mute us. I think he all tabbed onto Discord.
Okay, I see both now.
All right.
All right, you guys good to go?
Yeah. All right.
Okay, I'm gonna beat both.
Well, I'm gonna let me do the countdown.
Way ahead of you.
Well, but he can't hear the countdown, so it would just be me starting.
What? Dabu muted me
talk
already?
about it?
Dalbu has already muted you guys. Yes.
Do we just ping him?
Wow.
In chat and say
Yeah,
right?
you should tell us to start in the chat. How about that?
All right.
All right, let me mute you real quick. Give me like 10.
Yep.
Okay, they're gonna tell us to start in the chat. All right, good luck.
Hype. All right. So, I think Shocks actually started a little bit early. I think
Should be fine.
I think he'll take like a 30-second penalty though on the final time for
Okay.
a false start.
It wasn't even 30 seconds, but alright.
Okay.
Standard start.
So you still follow like the same plot, right?
Yeah, so you still have to go to Hyrule Castle.
Can you pause for 1 sec? I'm having a control issue.
Yeah.
Okay, and they got a single heart piece as like their first item, and that's random, right? That could have been anything.
Yes, so that
Okay.
that chest could have contained anything. It could have contained like items. But they got a heart piece, so
Alright, I'm ready whenever you are.
Okay, let's go.
the most common strat is to go through Hyrule Castle because you're going to be guaranteed like a weapon drop by the grandpa right here.
Okay. Oh, it's a
Okay, so
sword.
they got a sword.
Wow.
And that's the Master Sword, right? That's like tier 2 sword?
No, that is the first tier 1 sword. So they have to
Oh,
get
okay.
the other tiers off drops. It goes in sequential order, so you will
Oh.
always get the first sword, and then the next sword drop you get will be the level 2.
Got it, okay. So the whatever the golden sword, you can't get that out of order. That's always the third one you get?
Yep. So
Okay.
they get the magical one next, and then the golden one, and then finally the ultimate one.
I thought there's only 3 in this game.
There's 4. There's the normal, there's the magical, there's the golden, and then the final one.
Oh, I don't... I guess I'll just have to wait to see it. I don't remember the 4th... Like, I remember getting the golden one from, like, the dwarves, you know? Or is that the ultimate one? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, they're just going through the normal route of book. So that it partially opens up, what is that dungeon on the bottom left? The sewer dungeon? Desert Palace? They
Okay.
still need they can't complete Desert Palace because they need the dash, the charge dash.
Yeah, the Pegasus
to-
boot. Yeah.
Yeah. But they could at least get in and at least check like 2 or 3 chests in there prior. They just cannot complete it. So right now we don't actually even know what dungeons have the crystals, because none of them have checked which dungeons currently have the crystals. So when they go out into the overworld, hopefully one of them checks it so we can know.
So far, Shox is ahead by maybe like 15 seconds, but Dabu has full magic meter.
Yeah, and so the next location after here,
And bombs. Wow, 8 bombs.
they don't have enough to even complete the Palace of Darkness, so they will have to go. They'll have to go west towards like Kakariko Will, or the Kakariko town.
Yep.
To the west.
Yep.
Because that town has like 5 or 6 chests available for them to potentially get items.
And then, so once they get like items that, like the glove that lets you pick up stones and the whatever, that kind of stuff, then they might start going different directions, right? It's like
yeah, absolutely. Because if you get the gloves, then they have access to Death Mountain. Some of the chests in Death Mountain, because they could pick up the rocks that are currently blocking it. So it's really just a matter of them just going through the areas where the most amount of chests are in the hopes of getting key items to be able to complete the dungeons that they need to complete to get the crystals. So right now they have partial items to be able to complete Desert Palace and Palace of Darkness. They just can't complete it because Palace of Darkness, you obviously need the bow for the boss.
Sure.
And you need the charge shot for Desert Palace. So as soon as they get a bow, they can finish that dungeon and then charge.
Yeah, man, this is... I mean, I played A Link to the Past when I was a kid. I was pretty competent at it way back then, but I never did the randomizer, and I haven't played it in like 20 years probably, so there's
It's a
It's
fun
interesting.
mod because it really puts your you really need to deduce what steps you need to actually go get items in, where would be the ideal route for you to actually proceed.
Sure, yeah. And knowing once you get this item, then you can go here.
Yeah, and
That
trying
sort of
to
thing.
gauge, okay, I have these items. I need to go to an area that actually has the most amount of chests, so the highest probability of me getting a key item that I need. Because as of right now, both of them, what they're trying to aim for and what everyone should be aiming for
Ooh.
is
Hookshot.
hookshot is huge. To go into the other world, right? The dark world, because
Yeah.
that has the most amount of chests in the whole world. So the hook is great and all, but it doesn't necessarily open anything else for them at
Okay.
this time.
Yeah, it's not like in Ocarina of Time, the long shot is broken, right? It lets you go everywhere. It's not quite that good in this game.
Yeah, because the majority of the areas where the hookshot shines is in the dark world, and they don't have a method of getting to the dark world right now.
I totally don't remember the routes.
He says Shock says that, but he knows that he needs to head to Kakariko next because
Well, I think usually you go to the village first because there's a lot of treasure
Yeah.
chests.
yeah, Dabu already remembered.
Yeah, but there goes
That's totally where I
Shox'
was
lead.
going.
Yeah, that actually gave Shox the idea to go back because he was not heading towards the village.
Right now, Dabu is like he's taking like a 10-second lead now.
Yeah, Dabu threw that kind of hard because Shox was going the opposite direction of the village. Which is actually kind of funny if you think about it. 'Cause where was Shox even planning on going? He must have been heading towards the Palace of Darkness area, which he cannot actually get access to a lot of chests.
Okay, so Dabu checked that cave and he saw it's the net, right? So
Yeah.
does that mean he's not that interested? He'll go there later?
Yes. Because the net doesn't necessarily guarantee him anything too much, but he did just get the ice rod and fire rod.
Damn, that's Shox is on the right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So Dabu went somewhere else. So this is interesting. The paths have diverged. Okay, so Dabu has the boomerang, but Shox has the cane of Samaria and the cane of Legalia or whatever.
Yeah, Dabu's gonna get that as well. Dabu went Lost Wood because there are 2 chests that you can grab right away in Lost Wood. Head south and that goes straight to the village. So Dabu's just going a bit a roundabout way to head to the village. That is his end goal as well.
Okay.
He's just checking 2 additional spots in Lost Wood.
So Shox probably forgot about the Lost Woods, or
Yeah.
yeah.
He absolutely forgot.
All right.
Dabu mentioned the village and he headed straight to the village. Shox did get the magic sword, which is the level 2 sword. That is actually enough to defeat Ganon. You don't actually need to get further upgrades to defeat Ganon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they can't get to Ganon right now, but if they were able to, they could actually defeat him. Off a charge shot. Normal hits will not hurt Ganon off that sword. Oh, there's
Oh,
their
the mirror.
axis. That's their axis. They actually don't have access right now because they still need the gloves.
Right.
To
So
get to the
Dabu
dark
has the
world.
mirror, so he can go to the dark world, but he can't do anything yet. There.
You're right. Because you'll turn into the frog in the dark world,
Yeah.
so you can't really do anything. So as soon as they get a moon pearl, then they have full access to the dark world.
Do they have to do the dungeons in the normal world?
If they have a crystal, if they contain a crystal. There's 7 crystals that you have to get in order to beat the game.
Uh-huh.
It is a prerequisite to before going to the final Ganon fight. those 7 crystals are spread out to randomly throughout the dungeons.
Oh, okay.
So they need to, if the dungeons that they need to complete are, have the crystals in the, in the normal world, then they have to complete them.
And so they won't really know until they do them? So,
No, when you press start and look at the map, it'll tell you which dungeons have a crystal on it. It'll show a crystal icon on them.
okay.
They haven't clicked on them though. So the Shocks just got the mushroom. The mushroom allows you to trade an item at the potion giver, the witch.
Yep.
She will give you a random item. It could be rupees, it could be a heart container, it could be a major progression item that you need to eventually check. Shocks just got the gloves.
Is that the level 1 or level 2 glove?
That is the level 1. Glove is the same as the sword. It only goes in sequential order.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So it will always drop the level 1, and then when you get it again, it'll be the level 2.
Power glove and then Titan's mitt, I believe. I used to love
That is true.
the Titan's mitt.
I don't remember any of the names. I just go by what they are. So with that glove, they have full access to actually to beat one of the dungeons in the game, which is Tower of Hera, which has the little worm boss. So they could defeat that. If there's a crystal in that tower, they could actually go acquire that right now. They can also complete the Desert Palace along with that.
Is that what Shocks is going to right now?
Yes.
Sick. Let me see if I can switch the audio.
It is conditional that he can complete it because if the final key of the dungeon is on top of the column, then he needs to charge dash because there is no way to complete the dungeon. So it is like a conditional method of being able to complete it. If the key is not there, all of the keys are randomized. So if the key is not on the column, then he can complete this dungeon. If it is, he cannot. So he'll have to check, and he'll check in like 3 rooms from now. They're getting a lot of their major progression items like really early, which is this is a pretty simple seed so far.
So they still don't have the bow, right? So like if it takes a while for them to find the bow, that could be a kind of a problem, right?
Yes, because if Palace of Darkness has a crystal in it and you have to actually complete the dungeon, then you need that bow. Then they have to like go through everywhere else in order to find that bow. So Dabu is actually trying to get trying to acquire more items in the overworld, while Shox is going on dungeon spelunking early. Okay, so Shox determined that he cannot beat Desert Palace, so he got the items that he could from it, and now he's heading out. So he'll need the dash to be able to come back and complete it.
Right.
Hopefully one of them opens up the overworld so we can see where the crystals actually are.
I think Shox doesn't know where he's going.
Maybe Shox thought there was There's a chest there. Actually, I don't see the key that on top of the column. So, yeah, so there is actually no key, so you can complete the dungeon. I guess Shock's just left for some reason.
Well, I don't think he got the key. He went up to this room that Dabu's in right now. He saw the big chest and then he left.
Why?
I think
Because he just needed to check that room if the small key was on top. But since the compass is up there, it means he can complete this dungeon. So now Dabu can actually just go and complete the dungeon. Hopefully it is a crystal dungeon, so he's not wasting his time.
it seems like Dabu's memory is a little bit sharper than Shox's. It's got the ocarina now.
Did Dabu just get the ocarina?
Yeah.
Nice. That's huge. Because now he can just port straight to Death Mountain and get those items in the overworld right off the bat. Shox made a mistake. He needed to get the items in that dungeon.
Well, he's got a couple there from that cave now.
Yeah, he got the cape, which isn't really that useful. Because the cape isn't exclusive to any item. Like, you can get whatever items the cape just makes you invisible. There's no real item that actually requires just invisibility.
It's probably he probably beelined for that because he's been playing Skyrim and I assume he's making a stealth archer. I don't know. But I don't remember. Okay, so Shox opened the map once. I only had time to see one pendant at the north dungeon. And so if there's a pendant, you don't need to go there, right? Because that's like early game.
Right.
It's
So the 3 pendants are required for one item, which is in the Lost Woods. You trade it in for, the original game, you traded in for the Master Sword.
Yeah.
But now, since all the items are randomized, we traded the 3 pendants for a random item.
Okay.
So that is the reason why very rarely will you ever get people aiming for the 3 pendants, because
Right, yeah.
the time you use on it is not worth it unless it absolutely is required.
Yeah,
which is very rare.
So it's possible you would need to do that if yeah, interesting.
Very rare though.
And so if that's the case, then you basically have to do all of the dungeons, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, that means you have to do every dungeon. Those types of seeds are detested by the Zelda runners of randomizers.
Who want to play the game, but play it as little as possible.
Well, yeah. They want to beat it fast. Shox is playing the gamble game with the chess. Usually never pays off.
feel like in this iteration of Hyrule, the construction workers were particularly lazy. They just leave these huge cracks in like half of the walls.
This is true.
Man, this is... Dabu's opening up such a big lead since he's got the flute and is warping everywhere.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're not going for Tower of Hera. I mean, yeah, there's a pendant dungeon, but there's like in Death Mountain over there, and including the dungeon, there's like 7 chests in total. Meaning there's like 7 chances to get like a big item.
Yeah.
So we saw the overworld. There's Palace of Darkness and Tower of Hera are both pendant dungeons.
So even though Tower of Hera is a pendant dungeon, you think it's potentially still worthwhile doing it just because you get a bunch of items from it?
Correct. So you have to at least check the initial chests. Because their progression item could actually be in one of them. Like the bow could be in Tower of Hera, which they would absolutely need.
Mm-hmm.
Even the hammer or moon pearl, for them to actually get Dark World access, they need the moon pearl. Or else they're just going to turn into a bunny, right? When they go into the Dark World, so they need it. But that moon pearl could be in Tower Hero or it could be in Palace of Darkness. They have to check eventually. And that is what Dob is doing right now. He's checking Palace of Darkness, even though it is a pendant dungeon.
Oh, we got a reset from Shocks?
It is faster to reset and start back in Sanctuary
Oh, okay.
than actually running all the way.
You know how many...
Because you remember, he didn't get the flute that Dabu got.
Right, true.
The flute would have been very helpful there.
Well, it seems like this could end up helping Shocks. Because Dabu hasn't found anything good yet. He found like a 20 rupee... Oh, there's a pearl.
The moon pearl, nice. That gives them Dark World access.
I think it was. Was that it?
It was the red pearl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the red pearl is Dark World access, so they can actually go back to Kakariko Village, which is important because Kakariko actually has 3 chests and the dungeon there, which is a crystal pendant dungeon because there's no crystal pendant or crystal dungeons in the normal world, meaning all 7 crystal pendant dungeons are in the Dark World.
Isn't the bottom left dungeon in the regular world that has a crystal, I think?
Oh, if that has a crystal, then I missed it.
Yeah.
The other 6 then are in the Dark World.
Dude, Dabu's gonna die!
He is trying to die.
Oh, a rare mistake from Lord of Dabu. Actually gets a death.
He didn't realize he had a fairy. Or maybe he did, and he wanted the power up to the sword? I'm not entirely sure.
Huh. Probably saves like 15 frames or something.
I don't think it saves anything. I think he just lost like 15 seconds.
And his fairy.
Okay, so Dabu is coming up to check 2 chests here, which is the Spiral Cave and the Paradox Cave. Paradox Cave actually has like 3 chests in there, so potentially 3 items. And then Spiral Cave is the singular one.
Okay. Let's see what we got. 10 arrows. Rip.
That is a rip. I'm really surprised Shox missed that flute. It would have saved him so much time if he had just progressed through the desert palace a little more. So the Paradox Cave, let's see if they have any good items in here.
Oh, 70 rupees. It's basically trash.
Five chests.
Lantern?
There's the lantern.
Okay, well, that's pretty big for Shox, right? Although, I mean, I guess he's probably gonna eventually check there as well. So it's only really. Sorry, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, I was watching Dabu. What did Shox get?
Oh, nothing. I was just saying that since Dabu didn't really get anything good there, it's potentially a place where Shox could catch up time if he doesn't go there at all.
Well, the lantern is required for some of the dungeons, so it is
Oh.
because no one has the fire rod, right? So you could utilize the fire from the lantern to be able to get through like Skull Woods or
Right.
even Thieves Town. So the lantern is a great pickup because they don't have the fire rod right now.
Makes sense.
It was my mistake. I kept calling the dungeon that Shox in the Palace of Darkness. It's actually the Eastern Palace. The Palace of Darkness is the equivalent dungeon that's in this area in the Dark World. I was just
Okay.
mixing up the two. That's huge for Shox. He got it as well, the Moon Pearl. If only he had gotten that flute. But he'll eventually go check.
Well, does he think that he needs some other item to complete that dungeon? Oh, there's the sword. Dabu sees the level 3 sword.
The swords aren't important at this point. What is important is the bow, the hammer, the dash would be very helpful to speed things up.
Mm-hmm.
The sword really isn't like it's great to have for damage, but it doesn't help you at all progress.
Doesn't it? It's got that thick sound effect though, like.
Yeah, that's exactly
Yeah.
the sound effect. That is important to have.
I can't wait for him to swing it. Kylo Ren is jealous.
Okay, so Dalu's going Tower of Hera, even though it's a pendant dungeon, because he wants to check these chests up close.
And so in each dungeon, you're still always going to get the map and the compass, right? And then it's just on the other chests that you'll get something random, basically.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, every dungeon has to have a compass and the map.
Yeah.
And then every other item, aside from like, you know, the boss key, can be a random item.
Ooh, Dabu's thinking. He decides to leave.
I'd say it could be a random item, but it also needs to have enough small keys to be able to complete the dungeon.
Uh-huh.
For example, like the Desert Palace. Because this isn't the mode where they're playing where you potentially don't even get enough small keys to complete the dungeon. Our Dabu's coming back to complete the Desert Palace, get the pendant. Or not the pendant,
This one has a
the
crystal, yeah.
Yeah, to get the crystal. Shox is going to check the water guy,
And
King Zora, to see if he should pay 500 rupees to get an item.
Do you know what it is before you have to pay?
No. So you have to actually talk to him and then he'll spit it out. Oh, actually.
Oh, okay.
So that's huge.
All right, so he can make some interesting things happen now, because he can pick up any object. It's like he just got trained how to use chopsticks by, you know, the chopsticks wrappers.
Yeah, so this instance, Shox wants to head to the Dark World and go to Kakariko Village's Dark World, actually, to get all of those chests there. There's also the three. There's like 4 chests in Death Valley.
You have any crystals
Dark
yet?
World.
I do not.
Alright, good, me neither. There's no way we're beating this in 3 hours.
There's no what?
So Shox is very pessimistic, but that 3-hour mark that I mentioned is actually not too bad, considering they have the majority of the main items.
Yeah.
The only ones they're really lacking is the hammer, the bow.
You gotta push it from below, don't you? That thing.
I
Shox
said there's
is trying
no
to
way we're
pull it.
beating this in under 3 hours.
No. He can actually push it, but I didn't even see. So Shox is pessimistic about the 3-hour mark, but I don't think so, because they're only really missing 3 major items: the bow, the hammer, and the King Zora's flippers to complete you know, that the Swamp Palace.
Uh-huh.
Which the flipper is a necessity.
Epic boss fight for Dabu.
And we saw the 3rd pendant dungeon is actually Turtle Rock.
Cleanly.
That was very clean fight. We have our 7 crystal dungeons, which is only Desert Palace in the normal world, and then the other 6 are all in the Dark World. So you can imagine if they did not get Dark World access, how long this run would have taken.
Uh-huh.
If all the pendants are in that world.
Oh, Shox gets the flipper as well.
Flipper is very nice. It allows you to complete the first half of Swamp Palace. They still need a hammer though, which is going to be important.
They still need the shoes, right?
So the shoes is not required to complete any dungeon, but it does unlock like 3 chests in the overworld.
Okay.
What is required to complete dungeons is the bow, the hammer, and And the fire rod.
So we got Shocks digging some holes. Okay, he gets a heart piece. And there's only one item. Yeah, okay, so he gets the one item and then leaves.
Yep.
Damn, Dabu's loaded. He's got 1,000 rupees.
Yeah, rupees. The only thing they're really useful for is buying like the full potions. With a bottle. That's really it.
Yeah.
Aside from gambling, right? Like Zora costs 500, which he needs to spend to get the level 2 gloves or the Titan mitt. So that's going to take 500 rupees right off. Fox is going to check the 3 chests here. Oh, 4 chests actually.
Bottle. There's the shoes.
card.
Okay, so he's got the shoes.
Okay, so the shoe unlocks 3 items. One in the lumberjack where he has to knock the tree, the top half of the tree, to be able to go check that 1 item.
Also, I mean, getting the shoes is going to let him get around a lot faster, right?
Yes, so it's going to give him a bit of a lead in that regards. He probably thinks now he can actually complete the Desert Palace. Because he probably thought he could not complete it because he needed the shoes before.
Okay.
So now he's definitely gonna go back to the Desert Palace eventually after the Thieves Town dungeon that he's gonna complete probably here.
Nice. Returns the dwarf. So he'll get some item here, right?
Yeah, he just needs to walk out, come back in, and see what he gets. And it's
Nice.
single room. Another single rupee. These aren't really that helpful for shocks.
Yeah.
Because they
I'm starting to wish I had used a tracker because I was trying to do everything by memory.
Oh my goodness. I've been using it. I didn't at the start, and then I realized that I skipped a bunch of stuff. There's one in the channel, like I said. It's a lifesaver.
I'm gonna see how far I can get without it.
So what's the tracker that Shocks is using?
So in Discord, the tracker, what it is it's a list of all of the items, and on the maps on the bottom, if you click on an item, like let's say the flute, the red dots actually turn like green or blue, and what that means is that if it's green, it means you can actually go get those, chests. You have access to it because you have the prerequisite item to be able to get it.
Oh, okay.
If it is red, it means you do not have the prerequisite item. You need to continue on. So that's why dungeons are red. because you need certain items to be able to complete them. So if you click on a bow, then like Eastern Palace turns green. It means you can complete the entire dungeon because you got that item. So players, like obviously the top players won't even bother using a tracker because they could go off memory.
Uh-huh. And that's what
Um,
Dabu's trying to do as well.
yeah, but the majority will use a tracker like this just to remember because I mean, this game has uh, a lot of chests in
Yeah.
random areas
I mean,
in both worlds. So you gotta really have a good memory of what chests you opened, what chests you gotta go to. But the tracker is helpful because it also allows you to like focus where your next target should be. Like, should I go to this clump of like 4 or 5 chests or single ones here and there? Blah blah. It lets you plan your route.
in real time though, you gotta,
Yeah.
because I mean it's interesting because it's like an additional tool, which is like, whatever. But also, since it's real time, like any time you spend interacting with the tracker, you're not racing, right? So you gotta manage your time.
But people have gotten so used to it that it's literally just like, what they'll do is they'll complete like, they'll do like an
Wow.
entire areas, right? Like Kakariko Village. And then after they leave the area, they'll uncheck like everything that they did in there. So they won't be doing it one by one. They'll be doing it by areas, usually.
Okay. Do you see
So,
Shox had like a half heart left? He almost died, and then he randomly got a fairy.
yeah, I did it.
Like he was getting owned by the little lava spinner thing.
This dungeon could be hard. They're just, they're both, they both just need the 3 major items: the bow, fire rod, and hammer. That is key. Everything else is like inconsequential, doesn't matter. Unless, like those 3 items are are gate locked behind like needing the shovel to like dig it up or something.
Sure. Huh.
Because there are some items you need to dig up and you can only dig up, so who knows?
So we know Shox has the shovel because he did that one mini game. I don't remember if Dabu has it yet. I should get a tracker. I need a tracker for every participant.
So that minigame gives you a shovel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you don't actually need the shovel to do that minigame. So I don't think Shox actually has a shovel.
Got it. Yeah, you're probably right.
If he did, he would have checked the forest right next to where he took the gnome back home. Over there, he has to dig up a chest that's in the forest. He would have did that if he had it. As you all know, this princess is, I say you all, but I mean you. This princess is a fake. It is a phony.
It's a catfish. Wait, is it actually
Yeah.
a catfish? Is that what that it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it basically.
Dude, it'd be so cool if your body died and then your head just started spinning around by itself, shooting fireballs. Like, I hope my head does that when I die. Dude, he's dead! He's super dead.
Does he have another fairy?
No.
Alright.
He's hiding like a coward.
I mean, it
Wow.
works.
Wow.
Works.
That's pretty hype. And he gets 10 arrows for it. Okay, but he had to do it for the crystal, yeah.
He had to do it anyway. Okay, so Dalu's completed one dungeon so far, and this will be his second one. Shox has completed one dungeon so far.
Right.
So Shox is probably gonna head. I want to say he wants to head towards the. Oh, he wants to come back and get the purple chest, I guess. If I was Shox, I would actually just head to Death Mountain and go for like the 4 or 5 or 6 chests that are available there in the Dark World.
Uh-huh.
Or I would actually go and complete the Palace Desert because he has the dash boots and he can get the flute.
Yeah, so he's... I think the big advantage he still has is he has the shoes and Dabu still does not.
Yeah, so Dabu doesn't even need the shoes, but it is going, in terms of mobility, it is slowing him down like significantly.
Yeah, just for time's sake, I mean, because I think Shox is still comfortably behind, but I feel like the shoes, that's like, the longer he has shoes and Dabu doesn't, that's like the more time he could make up.
Yep.
But Dabu's gonna... Oh, sorry. Dabu's about to get catfished.
Shox is trying to remember where to TP. He made a mistake. Only for 50 rupees.
Sag. Is that not the right place to take the chest?
No, that is not.
I don't remember doing that, ever. Like, I remember escorting the gnome back home to get the sword, and the old man in the cave. I don't remember escorting this blue chest. Maybe my childhood was a lie. Is Dabu gonna be able to finish it? Oh, he's cheesing it as well.
Yeah, they're both cheesy.
Wow.
The Shox turned in the purple chest, did not get anything from the dude.
Feels bad, man.
Yeah. So he is... Where does he go? I don't actually know why Shox is going back into the village. He got all the chests in there. Okay, I think he's also a little off.
It's been a while, right? Hasn't it been like a couple years since they've done this?
Oh, he did not turn in the chest. I thought he turned in the chest because he lost it, but He needs to talk to that old geezer that he was right next to. I guess he like ported to the dark world and then lost the chest.
Huh.
Hopefully, he's going in the right direction to do Desert Palace and get his second crystal. Because then he would be even with Dabu, since Dabu has 2 crystals and a pendant.
Right.
Well, he doesn't have a pendant. He has 2 crystals, and he cleared 1 pendant.
Okay, there's the guy. Okay, he gets the yellow medallion from it.
Not very useful. I mean, it is useful to the fact that it opens up the first part of the Ice Palace, because they don't have the fire rod. But that's about it. Did not see what Dabu got off that digging that up.
It's a heart piece from the
Okay.
mini game, or is it a
Okay,
different one?
No, that was a different one. So Dabu did get a shovel somewhere. I did not see where he got it. But Shox does not actually have the shovel. It's just Dabu. So I'm curious where Dabu got it.
Huh.
If Shox's goal is to do the Swamp Palace, he can't complete it entirely, but he can clear the beginning.
Uh-oh, Dabu got the shoes.
Oh, there we go.
That's like the only advantage that Shock still had is gone now.
Yeah, so Shox does need the hammer to fully complete this dungeon, but he can get the initial chest without needing the hammer. But with that boots, Dabu's going to have a bit of a lead. Dabu's actually coming here as well. They both cannot complete this dungeon right now.
This is tough. I feel like Shox is having the race of his life, but Dabu is literally on world record pace right now. There's like nothing he could do. Oh, did he just glitch through that stone?
So you can do that.
Is this glitchless? Did he just cheat?
He didn't really glitch through it. What happens is that when you use an item, at the same time you push that, the block disappears.
Dude, that's not cool, man. That's
It doesn't save you any time.
this is a no glitches run.
It saves me literally no time.
I think that's like a 2-minute penalty.
So what you do, you just spam the mirror as you're pushing it, and it disappears, or it poofs the rock. I think Dabu is either checking his tracker, maybe.
I won't make the joke.
In order to see what he might be missing. Shox is realizing he doesn't have the hammer, so he can't do the Palace of Darkness right now. I mean the bow. But he is gonna check Lake Hylia over here with the mirror.
Just going for a swim. Gathering his thoughts.
I don't think he knows where to go, actually. I think Shox might be a little lost.
Yeah, he keeps warping in and out of the worlds at random, it seems like.
And then he said to quit. He still needs to get the flute, which would save him a lot of time saving and quitting. That is probably why he thought this run would not be done within 3 hours. It's probably because he hasn't found the flute yet.
It's true, yeah.
But he would have got the flute really early if he just progressed a little more.
It's a shame because he was at the dungeon. He just, for some reason, thought he couldn't complete it and left.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why. So Shox is just clearing up some of the chests in the overworld. There's still the lumberjack. I guess he's doing Dark World again over here.
Man, for like the first time in forever, they're on like the same screens.
It's true. They have like the same pathing right now. Shock's just checking individual ones right now. The graveyard cave one.
Dabu does win the moral victory of... He's the first one to have 2 rows of heart containers.
That's true. They are very tanky right now. There isn't too many places left for Dabu to go to. He has to, there's still the or lake items, like under the bridge. The homeless dude under the bridge has an item.
Dude, why can't Shox move that grave?
He has to dash it to it.
Oh yeah, okay. Dude, I can hear him right. He's baby raging so hard. He just keeps getting 10 arrows.
So at this point, we can surmise that the bow, hammer, and fire rod is most likely in Death Mountain in the Dark World, or in the initial areas of the dungeon, like the first part of the dungeons that they need to go in, like Palace of Darkness, Ice Palace, or the Skull Woods. There are 3 chests in Skull Woods that they can actually get right off the bat. They just can't complete the boss.
You can see immediately the difference in the size of the brains of the 2 competitors, where Shock spent like 30 seconds trying to pull that gravestone and then finally realized he had to dash into it. Dabu just dashes into it instantly on his first attempt.
Dabu remembers.
I know. His brain is literally 3 times the size of an average human brain. It's pretty ridiculous. I
had to double check because had to remember. I'm like, why couldn't you just push it?
I heard a rumor that one time Dabu forgot something just to feel, because like he had never forgotten something before, so he did it just to feel, you know, to experience what it's like to forget something. And then he's like, well, I didn't really like that, and so he hasn't forgotten anything since. That was like,
I'm still trying to figure out why Dabu's music's so loud. It's like he has this VR headset on. He's like fully immersed in this randomizer.
I've had Dabu's audio on the whole time because Shox's is too quiet. I could tell him, but I don't want to take Shox out of the zone. He really needs to stay in the zone.
It's true. Shox can check two of these areas up here. The waterfall ferry, as well as the ledge of Zora. Last time he only checked Zora and then he left. He didn't check the ledge.
Baby Rage.
Catfish gave him nothing. Just rupees. His patience is running low.
Whereas Dabu gets the same 3 chests, he doesn't even, it doesn't phase him in the slightest. He's like, yes, this is according to my probabilities. That's the difference in mentality between our two competitors.
So true. They really need to gauge at this point if they should just head towards the dungeon and complete the first part. Because the items might be there. Shox is checking the pyramid on the right side to make sure there isn't a key item there. And Dabu's probably going to do the same. They seem like they're following each other. I think Dabu is stream sniping Shox a little bit. Okay, so Dabu skipped the pyramid and is going straight to the Palace of Darkness. They both cannot complete the Palace of Darkness because they need the hammer to break the boss's shield or face mask.
Mm-hmm.
So, but hopefully they get either the hammer or the bow from the first parts of the dungeon.
So the worst case scenario is they don't get it, and they have to do the pendant dungeons in the light world.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they would have to do like Tower of Hera, or the other dungeon in Misery Mire.
Does the color that... So Dabu's got a red hat on and Shox has a purple hat. Does that matter at all? Oh, Shox finally gets a shield. That's nice.
Nice. Shield's useless.
Do you not need the mirror shield in this, actually?
You do not need the shield at all.
Okay.
I think the hat is based on the armor that they got.
Oh, okay.
And it
That
changes
makes sense.
color
Yeah.
for what level of armor they have. So Dabu has the level 2, and Shox is still rocking level 1. I think Dog was checking one more item over here, this dungeon, but he still needs the bow to be able to actually beat the knights. And Shox is going to check the Palace of Darkness.
Okay. Great minds think alike.
It's true. Actually, there's a few more chests in the dark room, which they could have went initially because they don't really need light to navigate that room, but it is much easier to navigate the dark room with the lantern. Seems like Shox is lost in the hedge maze. It's been a hot minute since he's got through this.
Well, now he's got a monkey to show him the way. Is that actually Wukong?
Yeah, his son Wukong right there. Probably needs a small key here. Getting the box key. There's 2 more chests down here he needs to check. He needs one of them to drop a small key.
There it is.
Okay, that opens up the left side doors with the big chest.
Ooh, heart piece.
It's only a matter of time. I think one of them's gonna run into like a key item over here on the left side. See, you can navigate this room, but it is so much more helpful with the lantern. You got the compass. That means the big chest could contain a map, but we don't know yet.
Red rupee, rip.
We'll need to check the big chest right here on the right. And it's the map. So he needs to head out because he can't actually complete that dungeon yet. So that's helpful because it means that he needs to go into another dungeon now. And check it out.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, Shox is barking up the same tree, so even though, you know, Dabu's kind of losing time there, or kind of wasted some time there, it looks like Shox is wasting the same amount of time. So it's, in this case, not really going to affect the race that much, I think.
Should be fine. Dabu's gonna head to Tower of Hera, which is a pendant dungeon, but at this point you kind of need to progress the pendant dungeons in order to find the key item. Which is unfortunate because all 3 key items, out of the 3 key items, the hammer is the best one, but you need all 3 to complete each one of the 3 respective dungeons. Palace of Darkness with the hammer, the bow for Eastern Palace, and then the Skull Woods with the flame rod. But actually, They don't need the bow anymore because Palace of Dark or Eastern Palace is a pendant dungeon, correct? We
Uh,
came to that understanding.
is that the eastern one on in the light world?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a pendant dungeon.
Okay, so they don't need the bow at all then. They just need the hammer and the
Oh,
fire rod.
Dabu gets the hammer, but he fucking glitched through two of the stones again.
It saves no time. It does nothing. So okay, so that hammer
It's triggering
actually,
me.
that hammer is going to allow David to be able to complete Swamp Palace and Ice Palace. Normally you would use the fire rod in the Ice Palace to complete it, but you can, since they have the rune, the fire rune, they could utilize that. We got the third rune, which is useless, quick. Actually, I'm not sure if that's Quake. I think Quake was the first rune they got.
Just glitches over the chasm. Dabu's like abusing this. It's not
There's
cool.
invisible platforms there. It's not abuse. That isn't actually intended. So Dabu can complete 2 of the pendant dungeons, and then you'll have 4. Shock still does not have the hammer. But Shock's is somewhat heading towards Death Valley. I'm not entirely sure.
I don't think he's entirely sure either.
Dabu's coming towards the swamp. Checking out the chests on the left side. While Shox is heading straight towards Skull Woods.
God, what a dirty cheater. Look at this.
Oh, there's the bow. The bow is useless, but it helps.
I mean, it lets you kill Ganon faster, right? If you get the silver arrows? Or am I mixing up Zelda games?
No, you're right, but it's not required at all. Because he has the gold sword, which makes the Ganon fight super easy with charge shots or charge swings. Level 2 shield.
Look at this guy! Are you kidding me? Wow. I feel like if Dabu has to play this game glitchless, he's like 2 to 3 minutes behind Shox. He's basically just been abusing his way to the lead.
Shox has been playing this legitimately the entire time. First chest is a dud for Shox. There's that big chest and then one more singular chest for him to try out.
Dude, that's kind of freaky, having to walk into a dog's mouth like that.
Skulls. Oh, Shox forgot to bomb the left side wall up there. I think he forgot the dungeon. Why is he leaving? You just bombed the left side of the wall.
He's a little rusty.
I think he just forgot. These zombies are probably the most annoying enemies in the game. They're very tanky if you don't have the gold sword, and they're very annoying while you're trying to push the statues.
Yeah, they took like 12 hits or something. See what Dabu gets here? Oh, wait. He can't open the chest yet. He's gotta get the key.
Correct. Shox just has the big chest to check, but I'm not sure if he remembers. He needs the fire rod to get into this dungeon. He doesn't have that right now.
Are you making progress?
I'm making some. There's stuff I can do now.
This is so unfortunate because Shox would have been able to make just as much progress if he had gotten that flute, which would help him with Death Valley to get the other items needed. But I mean, he could go to Death Valley even without the flute. I'm not entirely sure why he didn't go check those chests. Maybe he forgot how many chests are actually in a Death Mountain on the dark side. I mean, the Dark World.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to know. This is... I would have been completely lost without you here explaining stuff. This is a pretty tough game to obs. It's like you gotta just know so many things. Like, you know, this item allows you to get these chests at this location, etc. It's tough to keep track.
It takes a little bit of racing to remember. I would say this is one of the easier seats that they're playing, actually.
Yeah, they already have the level 2 glove. They have the... Well, Dabu has the hammer.
Yeah, and a key thing to remember about like the seats that are hard is if the key items of progression are in the single chest areas, which most players don't necessarily check first, right? Those are the ones they leave for last because
Sure.
It's not efficient to go check them.
Yeah, that makes sense. You might as well hit the area that's got 3 or 4 chests because you have better odds.
Yeah, and all of the core items for both of them have been in those like key areas with like 3 or 4 chests.
Except for these last couple, but we'll see where they end up being.
The fire rod is all that Dabu actually needs left to be able to complete Skull Woods and get the pendant there. Or not the pendant, the crystal.
Dabu actually fighting Metroid right now.
It's mother brain right there.
It's Mother Eyeball.
Shox is going to complete this dungeon and get the flute, and then he's going to kick himself in the ass. He's going to kick himself in the ass.
I guarantee
he would have had the flute so quick.
Yeah, he's gonna say something.
This is going to be a little painful when he realizes it. What? Where is he going?
Uh-oh.
Does he think he still can't beat him?
He's leafing through Prima's official strategy guide right now, looking for any kind of tips.
He's trying to call Nintendo Direct Online. Nintendo Power Hotline right now. Oh. He just needs to go right back in that dungeon. Check the rooms.
He still thinks he can't. It's a disaster.
It is a disaster.
Oh
No.
boy.
Oh, that was painful.
It's twice now he's been so close.
I'm really curious what he thinks he needs to progress. He probably thinks he needs like a small key to get through. Because he has 0 small keys, and he probably thinks he needs that. I was going to complete the Palace of Darkness boss, the Centipede boss with the armored skull.
If he can get through the maze.
He seems well acquainted with the maze.
We've seen some of our competitors spend quite a bit of time lost in the maze. Alright, he manages to get through. Heart piece for Dabu feels bad.
Feels bad, man.
Because what, he's still missing the fire rod, right? But that's like the only big item he's missing?
Yes. So he needs the fire rod to complete Skullwoods.
Uh-huh.
They need all 7 crystals to be able to go challenge Ganon, or Ganon's tower. It's going to be very unfortunate if the fire rod is in Turtle Rock, because Turtle Rock is the largest dungeon in this game, and it has the most chests in that dungeon. And it is a pendant dungeon. So, they won't be able to beat that boss because it needs the fire rod to beat that boss. But the fire rod could be in one of the chests leading up to that boss in that dungeon.
Right. Is it possible?
That would be worst case scenario.
Like normally, if you're playing the game straight up, doesn't each dungeon basically have a compass, a map, small keys, and then 1 key item?
Correct.
So it's like in each of these dungeons, you have a chance of getting one progression item, right?
Yeah, so in the normal playthrough, you'll always know to a degree, what next dungeon you can go to and complete, or next area. In Randomizer, you're not guaranteed like a key item in any one of these dungeons. They could be in the overworld.
Yeah. So if
you're not guaranteed.
If you're doing one of these dungeons, you get, a red rupee or 10 arrows or even a heart piece. You're not super happy.
No, you're actually pissed.
Damn, I would run away from this monster.
Yeah, but if you use the hammer, he is a piece of cake. feel a little bad for Shocks because I think he is lost right now. Like a bit of a loss as to what to do. He's going to check the lumberjack, but that is just one item.
Red rupee from the boss for Dabu. It's too bad. Yeah, I mean, right now I feel like Shocks has to just be hoping that Dabu hits a wall.
There's a net up there, which is not very helpful at all.
Well, it's kind of helpful for him, right? Because he keeps almost dying, so if he can catch a few fairies for his bottles, that would actually potentially save him time. But that's not the kind of time you want to have to be saving.
Yeah.
Dabu making pretty solid progress, though.
Dabu actually knows the path he needs to head to. He has gotten, what is it, 3? He has gotten 3 crystals. He still can go and complete the Ice Palace for the 4th crystal.
Wow.
He's checking this item.
Are you
right
seeing
here.
this?
Yeah, the hammer dash.
Wow, what a cheeser.
You gotta actually, to input it, you gotta dash and use your hammer at the same frame. Not the same frame, so like a frame after you dash, you gotta use your hammer and it gets stuck and you hold it and it gets it all in a line.
Yeah,
It saves a lot of time.
he executed it on the first one, but then failed on the rest of them. I was about to tear him a new one for cheating yet again. Very brazen.
That was losing a bit of time doing this because we know this chest doesn't have anything.
Oh, he's got 4 crystals, so he only needs 3 more.
That's true. He did Desert Palace. I forgot that he actually completed it. Wait, yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So he needs to defeat the Skullwoods boss, then he needs to defeat Ice Palace boss, and then Misery Mire boss, which is the big eye. That's what you get for hitting too many chickens. The guards were coming to beat up Dabu.
It's a creeper. Okay, let's see if Shocks can do the maze this time.
Looks like he memorized the maze.
Alright, that's progress. He's evolving. And now Shocks is earning back a little time because Dabu's doing some of the chests that Shocks did earlier, and we know that there's not much here.
Correct. But, Shock unfortunately still cannot beat this dungeon, but he can get one of the items, that's in this dungeon. Actually, I don't think there is an item actually here. I think it was just rupees, the map, and the compass on the left side. The big chest had the map, if I recall.
Yeah, I think so.
Unfortunately, Shocks doesn't even have the lantern, so you can't even really navigate that dark room. the lantern that Dabu got pretty early in Death Valley. Or Death Mountain. Dabu's coming to Skull Woods, hoping to find the fire rod here. But it's looking like the fire rod is actually in Turtle Rock. Within the like 6 or 7 chests that are actually in that dungeon. Unless Dabu checks his big chest, and if there is an item, then Shox will be incredibly sad because he did not know about this path right here.
Right, this is the one where he went in and like partially cleared it, but he didn't get the big chest.
Correct. So there's 2 ways to get the big chest. One is through the top way, the other is a bomb jump. So what you do is you throw the bomb, you stand behind the bomb, and you let the bomb blow you back.
Uh-huh.
That is one way to be able to get across that gap. Dabu has a gold sword, so he's gonna make quick work of these. So Shox doesn't necessarily even need a bow to complete this room. So what this room is if the enemies are off screen, it counts as you clearing the room. So what he needs to do really is like scroll the camera up to have the enemies be off screen, and then it'll count as a kill. Because normally you need the bow to kill these enemies.
Uh-huh.
But I don't think he remembers that quick or that strat.
Looks like he's getting him with the boomerang.
Well, the red enemy, he needs the bow.
Okay.
So you can't actually progress there unless he uses that. It's actually a glitch, so if you want to shame him for that, then you can, but I don't think he knows of it.
At this point, if Shox executes a glitch to save time, I would just call that skilled gameplay. Whereas if Dabu does it, I would shame him for it.
That's true. So Dabu still hasn't found the fire rod. That is the item he needs, so next for him is probably going to be Turtle Rock.
You said there's a couple chests in Turtle Rock?
There is a lot of chests in Turtle Rock. So there's 5 or 6 chests in Turtle Rock.
But isn't it... Is that not like the other dungeons where it's like small keys and the compass and the map?
Correct. But there's so many chests in there that it could contain like one of the key items.
Okay.
Turtle Rock as a pendant dungeon is hated because of just how large it is, and it has a lot of auto-scrolling sections because you have to stand on the platform and it moves around the level or the rooms. It can be very annoying and time-consuming, so that's why having it be a required dungeon is rough.
Oh, Dabu froze?
Yeah, I lost sound on Dabu.
I'm seeing his cursor now. That can't be good. Shox has a chance. Okay.
Pretty sure Dabu needs the red magic, the red cane to complete this dungeon. Which he doesn't have right now. But he can get some of the chests leading up to it. You need a red cane because it summons a block, right? that block is required to be put on, one of the buttons that keeps the door open.
Oh, okay.
So he'll run into that part when he's trying to progress towards the boss of the dungeon. The red cane is also actually required for Turtle Rock, if I remember correctly. Because it also creates a platform which you stand on, and then that platform moves around the map, or around the room.
Man, it feels so bad. Shox encounters a couple little wooden stakes, immediately has to save and quit.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. He really needed that flute. Dabu just needs 2 more items, the cane and then the rod, and he can complete these 2 required dungeons. The red cane is most likely in this dungeon. Or it could be in a one-off somewhere. It's most likely in this dungeon somewhere because they can't really progress far in Turtle Rock without the red cane. Meaning they have to run into the red cane pretty early now.
Mm-hmm. So Dabu only has 2.5 heart pieces. It's got to be careful.
The cane's either in here or it's an ice palace. One of the 2. I think the ice palace has a little more chests. I'm not entirely sure. Shock seems a little lost at this point. He's coming to areas he's already cleared. Unfortunately. That's the rough part about these randomizer runs, right? Like, if you miss something early on like that, it throws you completely off. As opposed to, like, getting that flute.
What is Dabu farming for?
I don't think he's trying to farm. I think he needs to hit one of the switches to be able to go through there. He might have wanted a little more life, I guess. I think Dom was just a little lost in this dungeon.
Yeah.
He forgot the route.
Alright, he does spend the key on that door. He hesitated a couple times, but now he decided he's got to go through here.
Okay, that should lower the platforms for him to get across.
Man, Shox is stumped.
Yeah, I think he's just analyzing the map right now to figure out what he missed.
I think he's stream sniping Dabu.
That wouldn't really help at this point. If Shox doesn't go back to Desert, I could see him forfeiting this run.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty harsh. It's sad how, like, he needed the one item in the desert palace and missed it, and because of that, he missed out on another item, which caused him to miss out on two other items. You know, it's like it snowballs like that. That's tough to come back from.
I mean, to a degree, right? Like the flute's very helpful. It would have saved him a lot of time, but he could have went to Death Valley, um, in the Dark World and collected the chest there to be able to get the hammer, which Dabu got. So I mean, Shocks probably just doesn't really even remember
Mm-hmm.
the Death Valley Dark World items. I could be wrong. I mean, I might be missing something, but it seems that's most likely the case. Dabu's in Tower of Hera. Um, Another pendant dungeon. We don't know why he is coming up here because there is only one chest left. Uh, so if that one chest, I guess he's gambling on that one chest being it.
Is he able? He's got to do the ice palace, right? Is he able to get
Yes.
there?
Yeah, he can. So he can actually even beat the Ice Follows right now, which he has to do anyways because it's a crystal dungeon. So I'm not sure why he's not heading there.
Hmm.
Maybe he thinks this route is just quicker to just check that real quick.
Ooh. Ah,
And then
red
just a
rupee. Too bad.
He might beat the boss just thinking like, the three pendants might be required. But if I was him, I would have went immediately to the Ice Palace.
Oh, we'll see here. If he doesn't fall off, the boss is pretty quick, right?
Yeah, it's fairly quick since he has the gold sword.
Wow.
Yeah, you normally don't fight this guy with the gold sword in the original
Oh.
game, so.
Got the level 4 sword.
Did Dabu get the level 4 sword?
Yeah.
From what?
From the boss. It just dropped it.
Oh. Very nice.
Yeah, he's
That'll
stacked.
They'll make quick work of the remaining bosses here. He should be going Ice Palace here. I guess he's going to beat the pendant dungeon or the light world here, Eastern Palace.
Maybe he's throwing Shocks a bone.
Possibly.
He's playing
But
with his food.
Shocks is a little lost right now, which is unfortunate. I mean, this could happen very easily to like a lot of people. It happened to me as well, just missing like a key item early.
He's still way farther than I would have got. I definitely don't know this game very well.
strat there is you just dash and you kill all three and you go through the door. I'm not sure why he's taking his time to kill them all one by one.
He's menuing.
Surprisingly, both Shox and Dabu are in the same Eastern Palace. It's like fate. It's kismet. They have met up again. They're actually 2 rooms apart.
Yeah, but like Dabu has level 4 sword, level 3 hat, level 2 shield. He's like totally stacked. He's got the hammer. Yeah.
Well, Shox is still puny.
He's got the lantern.
Oh yeah, Shox isn't even have the lantern, right? Normally this is perfectly fine in Eastern Palace. You don't need the lantern at all. It's going to be a little hard for Shox because there are the enemies that you kill with the bow. And having light is very helpful. Unless you know the strat of like killing them off sound. Like gauging the sound. Okay, so Dabu is not completing the dungeon, he just wanted this chest.
10 arrows. Not good enough.
I was checking where he needs to go. He should be going Ice Palace next. Like, I'm not entirely sure why he's ignoring it. Maybe he thinks he needs the fire rod for it, but he has the rune, the fire rune.
Okay, I'm gonna forfeit pretty soon because I am still missing an item, like 4 items that I need, and I don't know where else to look. How many crystals have you done?
Let me see if I can turn this volume down so you don't have to hear it the whole time. I have 4 crystals.
Okay, I still have 1, and I have no idea how to make any progress.
Feels bad.
I am missing the fire rod and the cane of Samaria. I need both of those.
I never found the lantern.
That's a feels bad man moment.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to pause the race and resume some other time?
No, you should finish. I want to keep playing.
I don't know where to go. I'm kind of stuck.
I don't know how I missed something like this. Like, I've completed everything that I've seen, but clearly I like miscounted.
Dabu!
I feel like I found the lantern on Death Mountain somewhere. I might be wrong, though.
Wait, how'd you get up there?
I had the flute.
Okay, I never got the flute either.
Oh man.
Okay, I don't remember where I got that.
So he doesn't need the flute to get up there. He can get up there because he has the level 2 glows. He can just pick up and then use the mirror. I don't know why he thinks he needs the flute to get to Death Valley. Or Death Mountain. But the flute would be very helpful for him at this point.
Yeah, I mean just for time and quality of life. I mean it's saved Dabu 5 minutes at least just warping around.
I'm really surprised why Dabu thinks he's stuck and hasn't even checked the Ice Palace at all, which is a pendant or a crystal dungeon.
I mean, he must think he needs the fire rod for the Ice Palace.
But even if he thought he would need that, he can get through the initial ones and check the chests using the flame rune. He probably thinks he needs the fire rod to get in the dungeon, but you can get in the dungeon using the flame rune. I don't think he remembers that because
Yeah.
in the normal playthrough you don't use the flame rune to get in there, but you can. Um, so he might be he's not stuck because the concept of the randomizer is that the flame rod could be in the ice palace because you can still get in the ice palace normally using the flame rune, so it's not like out of logic, it is in logic.
Yeah, because it's like everything's randomized, but every seed is completable, right? It's like,
Yeah. So
yeah,
as long as it is in logic, that's the main thing. Because in logic means that you don't have to abuse glitches to be able to progress,
mm-hmm.
and you don't need to abuse a glitch. The flame ruin to get in Ice Palace is not a glitch.
Because it's like if everything were truly random, then it could be something where like both of the gloves are locked behind a stone that you need the glove to lift, right? So then that game would not be completable.
Correct.
But this is
Yeah.
there's logic to make sure that each randomization is possible.
Yes, and there's a setting for like the randomized Cs, which is in logic and out of logic. Out of logic means it is completable, but you need to abuse glitches to be able to get to certain areas to complete or to acquire items.
Which Dabu would have no problem with that, but
But they're not playing that. They're playing
yeah.
in logic randomizer.
I'm gonna ask Shox if he wants a hint. I feel like Shox normally would not want a hint. He's very much a strong, independent man.
Yeah,
But
probably.
he probably has to GG out at some point if he doesn't figure out what he's missing.
Yep. That was cleared almost the majority of the dungeons. Ice Palace is still not completed for them. Because Kano Samaria and the Fire Rod could still be in Ice Palace. Because they are both in logic. I'll be right back. While they fumble about.
I think we're gonna see, yeah, the chest that Dabu just got, I think Shox got that a while ago. So I think we knew it wasn't important. So Dabu still has to just go to the Ice Palace. And Shox has a lot of ground to make up. Let's just pretend that we know where the Ice Palace is. Probably in Alaska or something.
I mean, this is on me for not using a tracker, but I honestly have no idea where to go.
Oh, it's in the right place.
Well, I'm using a tracker and I still don't know where to go.
I'm back. It seems like Dabu went to the Ice Palace.
Yeah. I think he gave up. He's like, oh, well, I have nowhere to. I have no idea where to go, so I guess I'll just go to this dungeon that I can't progress in. But then he pulled out the fire magic and used it like right away. So I don't know. I mean, I think he's gonna get. He's gonna get at least one of the important items here.
This race has fallen apart.
He should have came.
There's
here
the cane.
Now. That's the other cane. That's not the cane of Samaria he wants. The red one. That's the blue one that gives him a shield.
Well, there might be some hope for me. I just remembered you can do Summit Ice Palace without the fire rod.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, that doesn't bode well for me because that's where I was going next.
So I guess he did just realize it.
Kato?
He can even complete this dungeon without the fire rod. Because of the flame rune. He just needs enough magic to be able to cast it.
Let's hope he gets some green jars.
Well, he does have the magic upgrade, which is all his magic costs are half.
Uh-huh.
So that's going to be helpful.
That's like a clever way. It's like, you know how his life, they add a second row of hearts? For the magic, they're like, well, we don't want to add a second magic meter, so they just add the 1/2 above it.
Yeah.
Save space.
Shock's finally gonna go to the Desert Palace? Stay tuned. And then he's going to kick himself in the ass when he gets the blood.
Well, I don't know. At this point, I don't know if he'll remember that he even went in there at the very beginning, you know?
He went in there several times.
I know, but like, he's like convinced that he couldn't get anything in it. I don't know if he'll realize that literally nothing changed and he could have got it right at the start. We'll see. We'll see what he says afterward. Heart piece. Yikes.
I mean, there's still more chests in here. And he has to complete the dungeon anyways. Meaning, this dungeon, if it's going to be in logic, this dungeon needs to give him, the Cane of Samaria. Unless it is actually the triple pendant, item, which would be very unfortunate.
So what? Then he'd have to do the dungeon in the Dark World that has a pendant, right?
So there are a couple chests left, right? They're the single ones. There's the Dark World Bumper Cave. You need the cape to use to get the one chest item there. That is a single item. There's also Spike Cave, which is in Death Mountain. There's also, um, and there's the pendant one. So there's 3 single items left all over the world.
Okay.
Two of them in the Dark World, one in Light. So yeah, he has to complete the pendant dungeon that is in. Actually, he cannot complete that pendant dungeon because he needs Cane of Samaria. So in logic, the item has to be in this dungeon, Spike Cave, or the Bumper Cave. So it's like 30 spots left. Literally, is 30 spots left for that cave. And then the Fire Rock can actually be in Turtle Rock. So that is how it can be in logic. In logic means he has to get this cane first. Doesn't look like Shox is complete. Thinks he can complete the dungeon? Oh, because he does need the lantern for the boss, but he doesn't need to progress all the way to the boss to get the flute. And Dabu got the flute from Death Valley. Or Death Mountain. So Shox needs to get the flute here, which he can get without the lantern. Because that's what Dabu did. Dabu got the flute here, and then he went to Death Mountain, got the lantern there.
Right.
This is tough.
Heart container for Dabu.
We could still finish that dungeon. He can still finish his dungeon. Using his flamer run. But I think he wants to maybe go do the one-offs if he still remembers where they're at. The Bumper Cave and the Spike Cave in Death Valley. We'll see if he remembers them. Because no one really checks those areas because they're rarely there. I mean, the chances of them being in those one-offs is like pretty high. I mean, pretty low.
Yeah, but at this point, it's like so few places left that they could be. It's at some point, it's got to be worth it to check them. Let's see.
I mean, those are the only 2 spots left, really. I think Skullwoods had one more chest that both of them didn't check, which is the big chest. Because they They don't know how to make the big jump.
Yeah, I know Shocks definitely did not get that one. I don't think Dabu got it either.
No, Dabu didn't. He left.
Does making that jump, does that count as a glitch for like the in logic, out of logic thing? Oh, here, Shocks is right there.
It's not considered a glitch.
Let's see if he gets it here. Okay, he's dropping down the hole.
You're gonna blow up the left side. He remembered.
Sick. Dude, if he gets the fire rod here.
Dabu didn't realize you could hug this left right wall for some reason. And there's the fire rod.
Okay.
To beat the skull. Dabu completely missed this when he came.
This is actually interesting.
So now Shocks can beat this dungeon and get the crystal here.
I'm completely stuck. I don't know what I skipped.
That timing
You
could
missed the
not be
fire
better.
Yeah, I am. Do you have it?
Maybe.
That cheeky ass comment.
But you don't have the lantern and all that other stuff?
No. I have the fire rod and that's it.
That's unfortunate.
Really?
Dabu, I can't believe Dabu just missed it. I
Oh
don't
my
know.
God.
He walked right by it when he went there.
The timing on that was too perfect. Like, literally, Dabu asks where the fire rod is, like, 3 seconds
I must have
after
skipped
Shocks got
something
it.
obvious. So.
Yeah.
Alright, I mean, you know, if Dabu
Now
really
it's a
can't
game.
find it, if he's stumped, Shocks might have, 20 or 30 minutes here to get a couple crystals.
It's a game because I don't think Dabu is going to think about going to get to Skull Woods to get the item that he needs to beat Skull Woods if he's been there already.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that he's gonna remember that he was there and didn't get it. So he's gonna think that that's not the place to go. He'll probably
Right.
check like everything else before he would try to go back there.
He's coming back over here to check, even though he's done this. Yeah, so this is a game. If Shocks remembers about the flute, then it's just a matter of like just going through the motions of each dungeon one by one. Don't know why Shocks thought he needed the flute to get to Death Mountain. I'm really surprised. Because he just needs to lift the rock up on the west side of the mountain and go through where the old man is. Because that would even bypass him even needing the flute. The flute would just be helpful to have to get around the map. Now Shocks is gaining a bit of a second win because he knows Dabu's stuck. While he is actually progressing.
Okay, so Dabu is going back to this dungeon again. This is like the 5th time that we've seen one of them go to this dungeon. But he hasn't killed a boss yet, right? So he's going just to kill the boss?
Dabu's killed this boss.
Okay, Shocks never did it though, right? This is where he was missing the
No.
flute, yeah.
No, he was missing the lantern because you need to light up 4 platforms to reach the boss, but you can get the flute without needing the lantern here.
Right, but the flute is in here.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he doesn't even need the flute to get to Death Mountain. I don't know why he's fixated on that idea. It's just been a while and he's most likely forgot. They are so strong, Mothra is absolutely useless.
Dude, Mothra's owning.
Oh, it's because Shocks only has the level 2 sword. He
Yeah.
doesn't even have 3 and 4.
He releases a bee. That's so strong. Dude, he's out of magic. He's got to play well.
Does he have any more fairies?
No. Oh, nice. That was pretty close. His bottles are all empty. Shovel.
He
Okay.
got a shovel, which opens up 2 spots he can check, which doesn't really have any items. But at least in his mind, it's open.
Well, he's got to know that the shovel can't be that useful. Because Dabu has, like, everything. And he knows that Dabu doesn't have the shovel yet. Because Dabu doesn't have the fire rod yet.
That's true.
However, I would guess that the shovel would unlock the... Maybe the
I
Cane of
really hope the
Samaria?
commentators are enjoying my playthrough, because it's really silly.
So Cane of Samaria has to be...
I'm looking at a tracker and I can't figure out what I missed.
Cane of Samaria has to be in 3 spots. Literally only 3 spots.
I feel like I've literally been to all these locations.
He has. Dabu has been to all these locations.
But he
Are you
missed
still
it.
at 4 crystals?
Yeah.
He just didn't thoroughly check those locations.
I mean, I'm not going to be able to progress without a fire rod or the Cane of Samaria. And obviously I can get the fire rod somewhere. I'm just trying to think about...
So Cane of Samaria has to be the
I might have missed an
reward
item in the dungeon. I really hope not.
for the Ice Palace boss, or the 2 spots. Bumper Cave in Death
I think I know
in
somewhere
Dark
else I can
World,
check.
or the Spike Cave in Dark World. Those are the only 3 spots Cane of Samaria can be.
Yeah, this is tough. I mean, Dabu's... He must think that he missed it. Like, the fire rod is in a dungeon that he already went to, and he just missed it. But how is he going to figure out which one?
Shocks is coming back to here, Desert Palace, because he has the fire rod now, so he can actually beat this dungeon.
Okay.
But he's going to get the flute, anyways. So Shocks is actually in a good spot. He's going to get this flute. He's going to go to Death Mountain, and then he's going to get his lantern and the hammer that he needs to beat the dungeons in the Dark World. So he's actually going to be smooth sailing for a while.
I mean, what items are you still missing?
Now Dom is trying to really
A
gauge.
lot.
See, the Dabu, this is where Shocks is going to get the flute, and he's going to realize, I did not need this rod to get this flute. I hope he realizes that.
Right, because we saw Dabu get it like 2 hours ago.
Yes, so we saw that we get it the very first time we went.
I think I'm about to find one because I'm an idiot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see? Okay, he realizes it.
I thought I needed a lantern for something. I don't think I do, and I think I'm about to get an item from it.
Oh boy, when he gets this, he'll realize he could have had this 2 hours ago. I don't even
Okay,
want
I
it.
found the flute.
Well, he's taking it well, I guess.
Yeah.
So now he's actually in a good spot. He knows exactly where to progress, even though he didn't need the flute for it. But it will still get him to the same spot that that we want him to go, regardless. So in the end, it works out. Because we want him to go to Death Mountain.
Yeah, because even though, I mean, he's got the fire rod, so now he's making progress that Dabu hasn't made yet, which is good. But he's still ultimately, you know, I think pretty far behind in overall progress. So it's, I feel like the real hype here is how many places is Dabu gonna check before he goes back to the Skull Woods or whatever it's called?
Yeah. If we think about it in terms of crystals, Shox is only behind by 2. If we think about it behind in terms of item progression, obviously Dabu is leagues ahead. Because Dabu's actually cleared the majority of these dungeons, at least the first parts of them. So what? As soon as Dabu gets the fire rod, he will immediately be able to beat Skullwoods. And I guess in his mind, thinks he needs it for Ice Palace as well, but he can beat Ice Palace without the fire rod.
Mm-hmm.
And then after those 2, then he just needs the Cane of Samaria. And if he doesn't get it off the boss of the Ice Palace, he has to go to Turtle Rock, the Pendant Dungeon. Shox is, he's in a good spot right now. He even sees the sword, he's like, hell yeah. Really curious if Shox realized that he just came here without using the flute at all.
I don't know.
Or maybe he has and he's just happy to progress altogether. Well, Dabu is in a state of panic right now because Skullwoods is going to be the last spot he's going to check because he's already checked it. It is where you need to get the item to beat the boss. Normally, in a randomizer, you don't get the item to beat the boss of that dungeon ever. So it's rare.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really tilted. I've been searching over an hour for this.
I mean, he's... If I was Shox, I'd be more tilted. the Dabu.
Did you find it?
No, I have no idea where it is.
Wow. Never thought it would see the day where I know something Dabu does not, but it's finally arrived.
Yeah. It's so unfortunate because he walked right by it. He even went to the room where it was at and thought he couldn't get it.
Like, I wonder if he doesn't remember that chest, or if he does remember the chest, but is like, he's convinced he can't reach it. It's got to be one of those two. I wonder, I'd be curious to find out which.
It could be the third one, which he might think like that chest would have like a boss key or a small key or something, and he's just disregarding it.
Oh, is he going up to the... Oh, no, okay.
This is tough because Dabu's gotten almost every single item in the overworld. There are like 2 overworld items left. Sharks is about to get to the area with all of the chests, and he's gonna get the hammer and the lantern. And that will give him progression to be able to go beat some of those dungeons. He'll actually have more progression than Dabu, because he can actually beat Ice Palace and the other ones without worrying about the flame rune.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is where, when you're rusty, having the tracker beat is very helpful.
Well,
and if you kept it up to date.
Dabu did say that he's using a tracker now.
Yeah, but he probably didn't mark down all of them in proper order. I mean, well, for Dabu, we already know. It was the fire rod that he missed, right? He walked by it.
Yeah.
It was in that big chest that he just walked by.
Wow. Shock's high skill gamer glitches the stone out of existence. Brilliant play.
Nice.
Bombs, rupees. There's the lantern.
I hope instead of leaving, he stays and he does the Death Valley or the Dark Worlds chest, which is in the same area. But he might get that lantern and he might head straight to Palace of Darkness, because you need the lantern to navigate the rooms there. That would be useless and a waste of time because he still needs the hammer, which he would get here in Death Mountain.
Buy some red potion. Alright.
Let's hope he doesn't leave. If he goes to the Palace of Darkness right now, that's a big mistake. He needs to go to the Dark World here and get the other items. Oh no. Oh, he's going to the Dark World, I think, to clear Misery Mire? Or at least clear the first parts of it.
Wow.
Blocks are gone. You got the bow. Bow's not helpful.
Well, but he didn't know the trick on the red statue guy, right? So in his brain, he thinks he needs the bow to kill those.
But that is a pendant dungeon. That's not like Eastern Palace is a pendant dungeon. Or I mean, Palace of Darkness. I mean, Palace of Darkness is a crystal dungeon, but he can't do it without the hammer. But he might think it might be in one of the chests before it, so he might actually go and try to clear. He's going to go kill this boss, I guess, for the crystal. And then he'll be one crystal behind Dabu in terms of like game progression.
Yeah.
I feel bad for both of them. Shox is just catching up. Dabu needs 2 items, but realistically just 1 item because as soon as he gets the fire rod and completes the Skull Woods, there is literally 2 spots left for him to check to get the cane.
I mean, Shox was suffering for like an hour and a half straight. Dabu's only been suffering for like 45 minutes.
It's true.
Huh. When this started, I was super into it, and then once Shox fell really far behind, I was like, man, I hope Dabu finishes soon, so because I was kind of getting tired. But now that like the tables have turned, now I'm really into it again.
Yeah, it's a challenge. I mean, it's a competition again.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely not over. I keep glancing over at Dabu's screen to see when he's going to go up towards the woods. It could be here.
This could be it. If it is, he's also he's also going to be very disappointed in himself. He's going the wrong way.
Does not go up to the woods. And Shox picks up another crystal, so he's only one. He's still several items like the hammer, you know, one of the swords, and whatever behind. But he's only 1 crystal behind now.
Yep. And he's unlocked several areas he can go in his mind to get the chest for. At least he's not stuck currently. Dabu is completely stuck right now.
Alright, he's got to be going up to the woods. He's going to the woods. This could be the moment we've all been waiting for.
If Dabu gets the fire rod here, he's in the light world for some reason. But if he gets it here, then Shox's chances of winning is basically non-existent.
Mm-hmm. What, Shax probably needs, what, like another 15 minutes,
Uh,
20 minutes to catch up.
so Shox is going to Death Mountain now. He's going to get the hammer from those chests. That hammer will unlock the dungeons for him to be able to go and complete, the swamp palace, and then he'll be tied with Dabu. Dabu left the forest. He saved and quit, went back to his hometown, did not stay there.
Hmm.
Okay, he's going back. Alright, this might be it. He's going into the dark world. Yeah, alright, he's gonna find it now. While Shox is actually heading towards the hammer right now.
Hype. Or is he? Dabu is not going there.
I wonder if he thought that he already cleared it. So he's checking the village? For what reason?
He's gonna go right back up there though. There's just nowhere else to check. I guess he's double checking all the stuff in the village, but
There's a couple of spots left. But, will he go up to the forest? Shox is making a beeline towards those chests. He's gonna progress once he gets that hammer. He's just trying to remember where they're at and how to get to the dark world for him. Probably is stuck. He's trying to flute out.
Spiral Cave? Is this where the hammer was?
The hammer was in the location or in Dark World. So
Okay.
he needs to go to the Dark World. He's in the Light World right now,
Right.
which is down there. There he goes. Now he's gonna get these chests and he's gonna get the hammer. Dabu is currently still lost. So Shox is making progress. He's catching up, actually. As soon as he gets this hammer, he can progress and get an equal amount of crystals.
Wow. Skillfully vanishes the stones. Incredible.
What a god.
There's the hammer. Wow.
He must be happy. He can continue.
And Dabu's speechless.
Probably doesn't know yet that Shox can actually complete another crystal now, and then he'll be tied with Dabu. So both Dabu and Shox just need the Kana. Well, Dabu needs Fire Rod and Kana Samaria. Shox just needs the cane. So item progression wise, Shox is ahead. Crystal, Dabu's ahead. Shock should be trying to progress the dungeons immediately, getting crystals.
Why is he going back up here? Oh, is he just hitting Dark World? Okay.
There's the pegs on the right side that Dabu did a while ago
Oh,
with
right,
the
right.
hammer. But I'm not sure why he's going this way.
I guess there's a bunch of places now that he has the hammer.
Yeah, he can go beat the Palace of Darkness boss and get all those chests there. Well, Dabu is going back to the beginning of the game.
Full circle.
He's retracing his steps from where he started.
He's literally starting a second playthrough.
It's a new game plus happening right now.
This is like New Game Minus. It's like you start with every item except for one.
Kind of amazing if you think about it. Dabu was like an hour and a half ahead of Shox. Well, like an hour. And now Shox is pretty much caught up. So Shox caught up an hour worth of progress. The only thing Dabu has that's ahead of Shox is Dabu's cleared the majority of the first halves of the dungeons.
Right. I think
Shox still needs to full clear because Shox doesn't know where the cane is that he needs.
I think that they're probably like this is you.
Yeah, I'm at a complete loss. I have no idea what to do.
Shox is just sitting there with a grin on his face. You know he is.
I guess.
It's in a dungeon.
Wow. Gives
Very
his competitive.
Very sportsmanlike. Dabu should be able to guess it. Because he's cleared the majority of these dungeons already. There is one glaring one. He has 2 pendant dungeons completed already.
Well, and he should be able to deduce that.
Yeah, and he realizes that he's going to it. He's heading to Dark World. If he goes and he gets it right here, he's going to be very disappointed. Oh, where the hell are you? Oh, he's going Thieves Town, I guess, first. He's going to check every single dungeon in order.
Well, but he's got to realize that it must be in a dungeon that like requires no items to get in. You know, because it was in a dungeon that he should have had access to, like basically from the not the beginning, but
Correct.
Like early on. It's not going to be in whatever, like the Ice Palace or something. Man, he still doesn't know.
I mean, there's only so many dungeons, right? He absolutely knows. I mean, he will deduce it in time. Docs would be surprised to know that right after he completes this, they're actually tied in terms of crystal counts.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't know if Dabu has a list and he's checking it twice or what, but I mean, he hasn't really made any progress in an hour. Like, really, he's accomplished nothing. He's just been wandering around the map looking for the rod, and he hasn't found it.
Well, that's true, but he got the hint, right? So now there's only so many dungeons, right, that he hasn't fully cleared that he can.
Yeah.
So he will check that place shortly. He's just like checking them off because that is probably the last place he's thinking of. Because in his mind, he probably has already cleared almost all of it. Because Skull Woods has the least amount of chests, so it's easy to like think that you've fully cleared it, as opposed to a place like Palace of Darkness where there's like 7 chests.
Shox has to be careful. He's only got 9 arrows.
In the tracker, there's actually a number count of how many chests are in each dungeon. And normally, if you wanted to be thorough, you would check mark, you would count down how many chests you've opened as you do it, so that you remember the count of how many chests are left in there that you did not touch.
Okay.
The majority of players don't touch that. They just use the item tracker and the map. So that's probably, if they had done that, it would be very helpful to know. Kind of like everyone's game at this point, because Shox is equal in crystals right now.
Yep.
So now Shox can go to the Swamp Palace and the Ice Palace. And if he goes to the Ice Palace, he might actually get the Cane of Samaria before Dabu. And actually beat the game before Dabu. Dabu needs to go to the Skull Woods like ASAP.
Oh, it's so painful at this point. It's so painful.
Like, you gotta imagine, Shox probably assumed he wouldn't even complete this run.
Yeah, I mean, Shox was really close to GGing out.
And now,
I think I'm gonna give up. I can't find it. I've spent like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours looking for it now.
You just want me to tell you where?
I guess, but I don't know.
Skullwoods.
Can you?
he did not open the big
His
chest.
brain just
I didn't think you
broke.
could get to those chests without the fire rod.
That's just the final area.
He ran right by it.
Did he actually GG? His stream died.
Oh,
Oh, it's moving again. Okay.
alright, he's
Is he gonna continue?
restart it.
Okay, okay.
Alright, well, they're actually kind of tied.
Fairly neck and neck at this point.
They're pretty much tied. Dabu is going to get the Skull Wood and then kill that boss, and then he's going to be 5 crystals, while Shox is heading towards his 5th crystal. So it's almost tied.
Dabu's gonna be a little ahead though, still. I think if Shox had waited like another 10 minutes to give him that hint, then I think he would have had a lead.
Dabu would have GG'd before.
Yeah, I think at this point it's not 1v1, it's more like 2v0. They're just trying to beat it any way possible.
But you can see how brutal and punishing like these randomizers are. Shocks just needed to know where that flute was, which steamrolled them all the way towards the end game to catch up to Dabu because one thing led to another item, which led to another. It went in order. This was like it's a really interesting like race from like our perspective
Yeah.
of knowing like where certain items were and how they both caught up. It's actually hilarious.
There it is.
Get the big chest. He's going the wrong way. He thinks it's this one. No, you need the big chest. I don't know why Dabu forgot how you can get to that big chest. Because that is not like a skip. That is how you normally progress through the game in this dungeon.
Is he gonna bomb it? Yeah.
He's going the skip route rather than the normal intended route.
And he's failing.
What is he doing? Get back in there!
Alright, he knows the normal route. He was just trying to be cute.
Okay, good. An easy way to use that jump is you hold your sword out, because then you can like tiptoe towards the edge, as opposed to sliding. Zabu didn't realize he could hug the wall. He thought he needed that platform.
There it is.
There it is. Now it's a close game, because Shox is heading towards his 5th crystal as well. Right after this, Dabu and Shox needs Ice Palace and Misery Mire. Ice Palace needs to drop Canis Samaria, or both of them are stuck until they clear the 2 chests. But at least they'll be stuck together in the same spot with the same item.
See if Dabu can finish Mothra. He's got more magic than Shox did at this point. But he's taking a lot of hits. Got it.
The Fort Sword actually does more damage than the fire magic. Because normally in the normal game you fight with the fire rod and you never get here with the fourth sword.
Yeah.
But having the fourth sword here shreds that guy. So he actually lost time fighting that boss using the staff. Alright, what's gonna happen? Dabu's at 5 crystals, Shox is heading towards the 5th crystal boss. Dabu's heading towards the 6th crystal, which is Ice Palace. Which is the only dungeon you can go to. Did Shox get lost in terms of the boss? Because he's back in the beginning. So now Dabu is a little ahead. I'm not sure why Dabu's going the wrong way. Oh, I guess he wants the item from Stumpy over here. I guess he never got this item that Shox did.
Yeah, man, Shox got that like over an hour ago.
Yeah. Well, there's not much to talk about at this point. It's just a matter of going through the motions. The only item that's up for discussion is the Cane of Samaria.
Right, we still don't know where that is.
Yeah, they need that cane for Misery Mire dungeon. It is likely that the boss will actually drop the cane from the Ice Palace. Shox needs to go from the other side. I'm not sure why Shox has forgotten his way through this dungeon. I mean, it is kind of big. You can get lost in it. Oh, it's interesting that Dabu wants to try the skip that he hasn't done. It's literally probably over a year. So what happens is he needs to put himself 1 pixel down, 1 pixel to the left of the bomb on the edge, and it knocks him diagonally to that spot. But it is not worth it. It is.
Dude, he's gonna wipe.
He's gonna. He has no fairies either. He's dead. Is he gonna use the cape? I mean, luckily he has the 4th sword for the boss.
No drops.
Shox is on his boss. They're gonna be tied in terms of boss counts right after this. And then Shox has to head to Ice Palace immediately if he wants to be on Dabu's tail. Dabu might just game over right here.
Jeez. It's only got 2 hearts.
There it is.
Yep, Shox gets it.
Crystal.
And a nice shiny compass. Very nice.
He needs to go Ice Palace now. Towards the 6th. It's actually amazing how close they are, considering.
Oh, Dabu's trying to sprinkle on the spinny thing to get a fairy. Oh!
Yeah, he might die trying this. Ooh, there you go.
Okay. A little bit of breathing room.
Shox is heading towards Ice Palace now. He knows where to go.
Do you think they're still commentating?
I don't know. I wonder how late they're willing to go.
I have to get up early. I actually kind of want to stop, but
Do you
they're
think
pretty
gonna finish?
close.
Yeah.
I mean, they're pretty much done. If okay, so if
Are
Kana
you almost
Samaria,
done? Is that what that means?
No, I'm at 5.
if Kana Samaria doesn't drop from this boss, it means that they need to. It's in 2 of the.
I don't know how I'm gonna beat Ganon because I forgot how to do it without the silver arrows.
It's in either or of the single ones, and I don't think they're gonna find it in time. So I think you should sleep. But let's see if they get Kana Samaria from this dungeon or the boss.
Right, because if they get it from the boss here, then they're set, right?
Yeah, but then they just progress straight to Misery Mire and then Ganon. They don't need to touch. They don't need to touch anywhere else.
Yeah, I'll decide after Dabu or Shox, whoever kills the boss first. If it drops the cane, then I'll watch to the end.
Because then it's just a sprint towards the end.
Although Shox says he doesn't know how to beat it without the silver arrows.
You should. I mean, you should remember when he gets to it. It wouldn't be fairly difficult to remember.
It's
like one of those you'll understand when you get there.
It's
moment.
a charge attacks with the sword, or what is it?
Yeah, you just so the frame that he reappears, you charge up the sword and you do the spin slash, and that does damage to Ganon.
Right. Okay.
He's vulnerable in that phase.
Holy shit! Do you see that bomb timing?
Yeah.
That was pro. That saves like 45 frames.
Yeah, it's almost pixel perfect. Amazing that they're both in the same dungeon after this many hours. Our Dalu's coming up towards the boss now. I was saying that, but like they're both just going the wrong areas. I mean, Shox has to clear the fully cleared because he doesn't know where the cane is. But Dabu's just lost a little bit right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the dungeons that well, and I like the room that Shox is in right now with the tongue statue on the left and the 4 whack-a-moles. Like Dabu's been in that room like 6 times.
Yeah, meaning he's gone the wrong way every time.
Yeah, so quick recap for how it's going. Dabu started off with a commanding lead. He surged probably in the first hour and a half. He surged way ahead. He was like an hour ahead because Shox got stuck. And then Dabu couldn't find a crucial item that he needed for over an hour, and Shox found it. So then the fortunes reversed, and Shox caught way up. So now they're like Dabu's ahead, but literally maybe like 3 minutes. Like if Shox just plays optimally, I think he can catch up. And Dabu doesn't know where to go.
It's actually less than 3 minutes because they're in the same dungeon. It's just like
Yeah.
5 rooms behind Dabu.
Like it's nutty how even this is now.
Because right after this, if they get the cane, they need to go Misery and then Ganon, and that's it.
Right, so if they get the Cane of Samaria, yes, Dabu found the item. He required a hint from Shox.
On the verge of quitting as well.
Yeah, well, and to be fair, Shox was the exact same way about an hour before that, where Shox was about to GG, but then Shox hung in there, found the item he needed, and got back into it. So I think the main motif of this race has been perseverance. Both players unwilling to give up. So yeah, if they get from the boss of this dungeon, if they get the Cane of Samaria, then that's the last progression item they need. So then they'll both have 6 crystals. They only need to get the 7th crystal and then slay Ganon to win. If the cane does not drop from this boss, that means it's somewhere else. Which means the Shox is in big trouble if that happens, because there's still a ton of chests that he hasn't gotten that Dabu has. So I think if the cane doesn't drop here, it's It's pretty much locked up for Dabu. It's not locked up for Dabu, but he'll have a pretty big advantage. But if the cane does drop from this boss, then it's neck and neck all the way down. Which is pretty hype. Oh, as everyone can tell from my body language, so I'm on the edge of my seat.
I mean, I'm on the edge of my seat because Dabu keeps going in a circle. He's lost. He's just, what is he doing? He needs to go to the top floor to drop the ice block to put it on the button where Shocks is at. You need to drop from the other side.
Dude, Shocks is pissed. Look, he's torturing that skeleton.
Okay, Dabu is getting to it. He needs to go to the right, and now he needs to drop it. There it is.
He's stream sniping.
Alright, now Dabu is at the boss fight. He just drops on the bottom left side.
I think Shocks ran out of bombs and got stuck because he couldn't kill the skeleton.
You don't need to. Shocks just needs to lower the...
Oh yeah, he's at that same room.
Yeah. See, this fight, normally it's a rod, but you could kill it with the ruin to take him out of the ice. So you don't need the ice rod.
I see.
I mean the fire rod.
Alright, let's see what drops here. Ah!
Okay.
I kind of take it back. There is one item that I forgot that I needed that I would need.
Okay.
Is it the red cane?
Yeah.
No, Shocks doesn't realize he doesn't need the cane for this.
That's the one thing I'm missing too.
Shocks thinks he needs the cane to keep that button
But to be
locked.
fair, if I find it, I will let you know.
But he doesn't. So, okay, so now the cane can only be in two spots. Bumper Cave or Spike Cave. Those are literally the two spots left there in Death Valley or Death Mountain. Those are the only two spots Dabu has not checked. And I'm not sure if he'll check it.
I think his tracker is filled up. Because I think when he was looking for the fire rod, he was using a tracker and maintaining everything, but...
Yeah, but the issue is if he accidentally hit like one of the chests that he thought he cleared, even though he didn't, because there's a lot of chests in that area. Unless there is a chest in here that he did not get, then Kane could be in here. I wasn't paying too much attention when he came to clear it the first time.
I think if he doesn't get it from this cave, I got a piece.
Yeah.
I'm going out of town again tomorrow, and I have to get up and pack and everything. But it's a shame because this turned into an incredible race.
Yeah, a lot of ups and downs.
All right, there's one chest there.
Shocks needs to push the one on the left side, but he needs to get there.
Yeah.
Why didn't you just make the blocks disappear? Why is he playing ethical now?
I don't know.
I'm just kidding. He can't use the MRS. He'd go back to the beginning of the dungeon. He has he has to light him again because he I think he has to. Because they ran out, right? Oh, maybe no. And it's a map. I think they're both going to quit because there's literally 2 obscure ones left. That's rough that it is actually in those 2, in one of the 2, because that is super rare for that to happen. Like, extremely rare. Because those are like the 2 spots that people who race it will check like last, because it's out of the way, it takes too much time. It's just not worth it.
Until it becomes required like this one. Well, Shox is gonna catch up here. He's gonna get the 6th crystal.
Yep. And then they will be in the same spot looking for the cane. Well, Shox will be a little behind because he needs to clear Misery Mire a little bit where Dabu's at. He needs the cane for this room right here.
Oh nice. The red potion from earlier comes in clutch for Shox. He's down to 2 hearts.
Alright, they're back to being equal spot.
Alright.
Whoever finds it first wins. But yeah.
I hate to bail at the end like this, but I'm falling asleep and I gotta get up early, so
All good.
I'm in a piece. But yeah, I'll be interested to hear the result. Hopefully they finish. Maybe they, this feels like they ended up just kind of working together, which is,
Yeah,
very human.
that is true.
Alright, well, thanks for teaching me all about the randomizer. So I'll be able to do a little bit better in the future.
No problem.
Alright, see you later.
Later.